I did everything right. I got the math degree, served my country, married the girl, had the kids, maxed the 401k, followed the Dave Ramsey plan, beans and rice, debt snowballing, the whole thing. I even had a budget spreadsheet color coded by category because I'm that guy. And you know what I had to show for it at 36 years old? Nothing. I was debt free and still going nowhere, making good money, feeling like I was running on a treadmill somebody else was controlling. Sound familiar? I'm Brian Moody. I'm a Nelson Nash Institute authorized IBC practitioner, founder of Remnant Finance, and a professional pilot. And this is the first episode of a series that is going to fundamentally change how you think about money. This long series that will take you from zero to hero in infinite banking mastery. By the end of this video, you're going to understand why everything you were taught about building wealth is designed to keep you dependent, and what I discovered on a military deployment that changed my life. Now look, I know what you're thinking. Great. Another finance bro on YouTube who's going to tell me the system is rigged and then try to sell me something else. I get it. I'd think the same thing. You've got 100 guys in your feed right now with rented Lamborghinis telling you they cracked the code. But that's not what this is. I don't have a Lamborghini. I have a mortgage, 4 kids who eat like wildebeests, and an unhealthy relationship with beef sticks. What I also have is 10 whole life insurance policies, a real estate portfolio, an options trading portfolio, and a financial system that's been compounding for years while everybody else has been riding the standard Wall Street roller coaster, hoping they don't get off at the wrong stop. Here's what nobody else talks about. The conventional financial plan isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. It's just not designed for you. It's designed for the institutions that profit from your participation in it. Your 401k, that's designed for the crooked government to control when and how you access your own money. Your mortgage, that's designed so the banks collect 30 years of interest before you own a single brick. Your financial advisor's diversified portfolio, that's designed to generate a 1% management fee whether your account goes up or down. Everybody's getting paid, except you. Quickly, we'll note this video is for educational purposes only. I'm not your financial advisor, your tax advisor, or your therapist. Though by the end of this series, you might need all three. Consult qualified professionals before making financial decisions. Here's what most people never figure out. The difference between families who build generational wealth and families who work their whole lives and have nothing to show for it comes down to one thing. Who controls the banking function in their financial life? I'm not talking about which bank you use. I'm not talking about interest rates or savings accounts. I'm talking about the actual process of how money flows through your life. The interest you pay, the interest you earn, and who profits from the difference. Right now, 100% of your banking function is enriching someone else. Every car payment, every mortgage payment, every credit card swipe, every student loan. That interest is leaving your family and landing in somebody else's pocket every single month. What if you could flip that? What if the interest you're paying could stay inside a system that you own and control? That's what I stumbled onto during a deployment in January of 2018. And it's what this whole series is about. Let me back up and tell you how I got here because it matters. I grew up in the suburbs of Pittsburgh, middle class, Yinzers. My dad worked at the post office. My mom was a secretary. Great people. I miss them dearly. They worked their asses off. And the financial advice they gave me was the same advice every middle class family gives their kids. Go to school, get a good job, save your money, don't get into debt. So I did all that. I got a math degree from Pitt, taught public school math for 8 years. I joined the Air National Guard, became a pilot, and started racking up deployments. I got married, had kids. We did the whole Dave Ramsey thing, beans and rice, rice and beans. And we paid off our debt. It worked. We were disciplined. And here's the punchline. After all of that, I looked up one day and realized I was debt-free, but not getting wealthy. There had to be a better way. Debt-free simply does not equal wealthy. I was a math major. I knew how numbers worked, but nobody had ever taught me how money actually worked, how the system is structured, where the real wealth goes, and why families like mine always seem to run in place no matter how hard they sprint. Turns out, the treadmill isn't broken. It's a treadmill. It's designed to keep you moving without going anywhere. And every institution around you, banks, Wall Street, the government, is profiting from your effort. So there I am in 2018, sitting on a deployment, middle of a shithole desert, nothing to do at night except read. And this book keeps showing up in my Kindle recommendations. Becoming Your Own Banker by Nelson Nash. It just kept appearing there. So #1 book over and over. So finally, I just decided to buy it, get it out of my feed. And I read it in one sitting. Then I read it again. Then I read it a third time with a pen in my hand. Now, Nelson Nash was a forester from Alabama, not a Wall Street guy, not a financial advisor, a forester, a guy who thought in 70-year timelines because that's how long trees take to mature. And he figured out something in the 1980s during a financial crisis that nearly bankrupted him, that changed how I see every single dollar that moves through my life. He figured out that the banking function, not the bank, the function is where all of your money in your life actually goes. And that you can capture that function for yourself using a financial tool that's been around for over 200 years. I came home from that deployment, sat down with my wife, and we started 5 whole life insurance policies. One for me, one for her, one for each of our 3 kids at the time. My financial mentor at the time thought I'd lost my mind. 5 years later, he was asking me how it worked. Now, I'm not going to go deep on how this works yet. That's what the rest of this series is for. But I need to plant 3 seeds in your brain right now because everything else in this series grows from them. Number 1, you finance everything by. Number 2, interest never stops. And number 3, somebody always profits. Number 1, you finance everything you buy. No exceptions. Everything. You either pay interest to a bank or you give up interest you could have earned by paying cash. There is no free transaction. Dave Ramsey taught you to hate debt, and good for him. That's a solid first step. But he forgot to mention that paying cash isn't free either. When you pull $40,000 out of your savings to buy a car, that $40,000 stops earning for you forever. That's a cost, a massive one, and nobody talks about it. All right, so you can either, as you exit this road, you're either going to pay interest to the bank or whoever you finance through, or by paying cash, you give up the interest you could have earned. And guess what? There is no third option. All right, back up here. Number 2, the interest never stops. Do you know what the average family pays in interest over their lifetime? It's not hundreds of thousands, it's millions. Car loans, mortgages, student loans, credit cards. Nash in his book wrote about and calculated that approximately 34.5 cents of every after-tax dollar goes straight to interest payments for the average family. That's a third of your paycheck gone every month, forever, building somebody else's wealth. I taught math for 8 years, 8 years of watching teenagers struggle with algebra. And I'm telling you right now, none of those kids were as bad at math as Wall Street wants you to be. Because if you ran the numbers on what you're paying in interest over a lifetime, you'd be sick. And finally, down here, number 3, somebody always profits from the banking function. Always. The only question is who? Right now, it's Chase, it's Wells Fargo, Citibank, your mortgage company. They're collecting the interest, they're controlling the terms, and they're using your deposits to make themselves rich. So here's the flow. You have your income, a good chunk of that leads to interest payments. What's that do? That makes the banks a lot of profit. And guess what? This could be your profit. What if you could redirect that flow? What if instead of enriching a bank, that interest stayed inside a system you own and control? That's not a fantasy. That's what I've been doing since 2018, and it's what this series is going to teach you. Now, here's the question I know is bouncing around your skull. If this is real, why have I never heard of it? It's a great question. Short answer, follow the money. Your financial advisor makes money when your assets are under their management. Teaching you to move money into a system they can't charge fees on is bad for business. Banks make money when you borrow from them. Teaching you to borrow from yourself is bad for business. The government benefits when your retirement savings sits in tax-deferred accounts they control the rolls on. Teaching you to build wealth outside their system, bad for business. See the pattern? Every institution that touches your money has a financial incentive to keep you in their system. They want your money on a regular basis. They want to keep it as long as possible, and they want to give it back to you as far down the road as possible and as little as possible. It's not because they're evil. It's just because that's how the incentives work. And I learned this lesson the hard way, and not just about money. In 2021, the United States military told me to inject something into my body or lose my career. 19 years and 10 months of service, and I faced getting kicked out. Didn't matter. Fall in line or get out. I decided I wasn't going to do that, and instead, I sued the Secretary of Defense. That experience taught me something I'll never forget. When you're dependent on somebody else's system, they make the rules. And they will change those rules whenever it suits them. Doesn't matter if you've been loyal. Doesn't matter if you've played by the book. Their system, their rules. Your financial life works the same way. As long as your wealth sits inside institutions you don't control, you're at their mercy. If what I'm saying is making your brain itch a little, if you're starting to think maybe there's a piece of this puzzle you've been missing, hit subscribe. This is episode 1 of a 40 episode series that's going to rewire how you think about money, banking, and building wealth for your family. You don't want to come in at episode 12 and wonder what you missed. Let me tell you where I am now, because I think this matters. Since 2018, I've gone from 5 policies to 10. Every major financial decision in my life runs through my banking system. When I buy a vehicle, the interest stays in my family. When I invest in real estate, the capital comes from a system I control. When I fund my brokerage account for options training, it flows in and out of my banking system. When I fund my kids' futures, the money keeps compounding even while I'm using it. I still fly for the airlines. I still serve as, surprisingly, in the Air National Guard. I run remnant finance with my business partner, Hans, who I met during the vaccine mandate fight, because that's what happens when you stand for something. You find your people. But here's the thing. I was 36 before I figured out any of this. 36, a math major, a military officer, a guy who thought he was smart. And I had no idea how money actually worked. That's 14 years of compound interest I can never get back. You're hearing this right now, today. Whatever age you are, you can start now. Don't waste that. I know some of you are sitting here thinking this sounds too good to be true. There's got to be a catch. There is a catch. It's you. This takes patience. It takes discipline. It takes the ability to ignore everybody who tells you you're crazy, your coworkers, your brother-in-law, Dave Ramsey's podcast, the entire internet. It takes thinking in decades, not quarters. Give yourself permission to question everything, because the people who taught you, they were taught by the same system that profits from your ignorance. So now that you understand the problem, that the system is designed to extract wealth, not build it, there's a specific number I need to show you, 34.5%. That's the percentage of your after-tax income that's going to interest payments right now. Not someday, right now. Every paycheck. In the next episode, I'm going to put that number on a whiteboard and break it down dollar by dollar so you can see exactly where your money is going and who's getting rich from it. When you watch that video, you won't be able to unsee it, and you won't want to. See you in the next one.